What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, it's me again, LaShawn Bridges. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. As each week, I discuss with you guys politics and our president-elect Joe Biden, as well as what's going on in Congress, what's going on with the Senate, what's going on with Democrat and Republicans, and so much more. Okay, now for you guys who are joining me, I've already spoken in my last video. I talked about, what recently happened in the U.S. As far as in the U.S. Capitol is concerned. And it was just crazy, right? It was just really just unreal. But, that's what, happened when you have a lot of people get together and they are looking like they're supposed to be protesters, but they're not. They're acting like mobsters instead, and they stormed inside the U.S. Capitol. Now, I want to discuss further about what happened at the U.S. Capitol and who was involved. What group, part of this group, I would say mobsters, coming in here and making all this damage in the U.S. Capitol. Now, Jake Angeli, he is a devil worshiper, according to CNN. And he was one of the people that was seen rioting inside the U.S. Capitol. Matter of fact, he even sat there wearing a horned hat. He stood there, in front of the U.S. Capitol once he got inside, and you can see his horned hat, which makes a complete statement that he definitely worships the devil, is using devil worshiping. So that was one of the people that was there. Also, Rich Barnett, who was photographed sitting at Nancy Pelosi's desk. That was his name. And he had the audacity to have his feet up on his desk, proudly sitting back, basically like, look at me. Yeah, I'm in Nancy Pelosi's desk. What is she going to do? So that was who you saw sitting at her desk, Richard Barnett. That was inside the U.S. Capitol. Now, according to DS Police, a total of 68 people, I come to find out, were arrested during this raid in the U.S. Capitol with all these so-called protesters, but they wasn't really protesting. There were a lot of white militia there. Now, Jake Angeli is behind the, I guess I'm saying his name right, QAnon conspiracy theory. The theory, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's all over the internet. A lot of people are listening to the lies that this theory has caused. And it's caused so much violence amongst people from listening to the lies. So if you hear anything about QAnon, okay, do not listen to them, because they are definitely white militia, white nationalists, and they got a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are just simply not true. The police has stated at first, of course, that this Jake Angeli guy, he at first tried to block him from entering the U.S. Capitol. The police did. But despite their efforts, of course, he made his way into the building anyway, and he was not arrested at the time. Unbelievable, right? It was ridiculous how I seen so many people going in there, breaking windows, climbing the walls to get up there to the top. I mean, it's just crazy, but that's what they were doing. Now, Josiah, I guess I'm saying his name, Coates, according to theguardian.com, was another person that was seen rioting in the U.S. Capitol as well. He bragged about it, okay, being the first one to be seen sitting at Nancy Pelosi's chair during the riot as well. And also there was a 60-year-old activist called Richard Barnett. He was also amongst, the rioters in the U.S. Capitol. And he identifies, of course, himself as a white nationalist. That's what he identifies himself as. He is the one who took a personalized envelope. Remember the envelope that was taken from Nancy Pelosi's office during the riot? It was ridiculous. How disrespectful is that, right? For this white nationalist, this extremist to be so proud to be able to take this white envelope from her desk. That was a very personal envelope to her. We don't know what's in the envelope, but it was something that was not his, okay? But that's what you get when you get a bunch of white nationalists, extremists together, and Proud Boys together doing damage like they did at the U.S. Capitol. Now, another person, a lawmaker by the name of Evans, who is also a Republican, was seen during the riot shouting, "We're in. Keep it moving, baby. We're in." Well, more Trump supporters, or as I would like to call them, mobsters, stormed the Capitol, okay? And that is just completely ridiculous. But, you know, he felt proud as well and screaming and shouting like he has lost his mind because he was so happy that they had busted inside the Capitol. Now, I was also watching CNN today, and I overheard that President-elect Joe Biden, he was talking about these are protesters. You know, he said, yeah, these are not protesters. These are mobsters. You know, and I totally agree with what he was saying. That's what I call them as well, that these are not protesters. You know, they weren't coming in peace and doing a peaceful protest. They want to damage the Capitol. They want to make a statement. They was listening to the lies and the rhetoric that has been spreading for days and for weeks and months in years that President Trump has been in office. And they was also feeding into the lies that Trump was stating about how the election was a fraud and how the votes were fraudulent and they weren't counted accurately. And so they just want to make a statement. And that's what they did by coming in there and destroying the U.S. Capitol with their hate and their acts of violence. But, you know, that's what it said. And, you know, I agree with what he was saying, that Biden was saying. I totally agree with what he's saying. I mean, they had no business storming in the U.S. Capitol. I mean, you guys, the U.S. Capitol is next to the White House. For them to storm in there, that's so close. And for them to actually be in there and be able to just do the damage that they did is unbelievable. You know, if that was Black Lives Matter, according to Joe Biden, he made a statement. He said, if that was Black Lives Matter, they would have been shot in the face. They would have been killed. And I agree. You know, there is no way that any part of Black Lives Matter would have been able to like break windows and run past security and go straight on in there and going up the stairs. Some of them went all the way up the stairs of the Capitol and, you know, going into these, you know, congresswomen and men's offices and just doing whatever, vandalizing the whole property. I mean, they just pretty much violated everything, you know, just did what they wanted to do, you know, to make their statement. And nothing was done about it. But I wouldn't have been able to, you know, if I was part of this, there's no way as a Black person I would be able to do all that they did, or any Black person be able to do that, to break windows and go in there and climb the walls and, you know, even swinging the Confederate flag. I mean, Black people are not going to swing a Confederate flag unless they don't think they're Black. But I mean, there's no way that a Black person would have been able to swing a Black Power movement flag or something like that across, you know, inside the Capitol, or spray paint the Capitol, or, you know, do any damage like climbing the U.S. Capitol like the way they did and just pretty much run past security. There's no way. They would have shot the first time they saw any Black person or any person, period, that was from the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, they would have shot and murdered them right offhand, right when they first saw them. So I definitely agree with what Biden was stating, that if this was from the Black Lives Matter, they would have been shot. You know, but these Proud Boys and these extremists and white nationalists, they think that they run America. They think that America is only meant for them and this is their country. And some of them were shouting that this is our country. We're taking over. We're here. And that's exactly what they did. Just be ignorant. They didn't take over our country, but they feel like they could, you know, if they can do what they want to do. So they say, you know. Now, Nancy Pelosi is trying to proceed in getting President Trump, I heard, removed from the White House by impeaching him. She's still trying out to impeach him once again because she feels like he is the leader of all this chaos. He's the leader of all this hateful, you know, unjust rhetoric that's been going on. He's the leader of all this extremists and the anger and the frustration that all these white nationalists have built up. And he's the reason for lying to the public and telling American people that there was voter fraud. So, and of the many other lies that he spread throughout the whole time that he's been in office. So she's fed up with him. She's ready for him to be out the door. And so am I. And many of you that are out there that don't like Trump, you know, and she wants him to be removed. But of course, they got to go through the impeachment process. But the Senate will have to, you know, of course, do an impeachment trial, according to CNN. They reported that Mitch McConnell could not have support, you know, of course, of the Republicans. He would have to have the support of them. And they're not sure if that's going to happen. But CNN also stated that the Democrats are trying to pressure Mike Pence to have Trump impeached and removed from office. So they're really trying to put the pressure on him, saying, hey, we got to do something. We got to do something fast, because this man needs to be out of the White House right now. I think they just are fed up, and they're, like many of us out there that are not Trump supporters, and they just have seen enough. And they're like, enough is enough. This country is being divided ever since this man has been our president, and we're ready for him to be fired. Pretty much, I'm saying in my own words, but that's how I feel that, that they're thinking, that they want him out of the White House. They want him out the door, Now, realistically, though, Trump, has 13 days before Biden takes office, So I hardly doubt that, Trump will be impeached, unfortunately. Hopefully, but I hardly doubt that will happen in 13 days. And many of the people that's in Congress believe the same thing, that no matter what, they don't think it's going to happen. But from what I do know is that it seems like America is in a lot of danger. I mean, as long as this man stays in the White House, who knows what he's up to next? With all his power of being the president of the United States, I mean, we don't know what his next move will be because of this man in the office. And General Colin Powell stated how Trump needs to be rebuked in some kind of way, according to CNN. He explained how this should not be, in so many words, I'm putting my words, but he explained how this is like a one-man show, so to speak, and the government is supposed to work together, according to General Powell. And I definitely agree with Colin Powell. This is not showing good democracy. Our democracy is looking bad. It's looking really sad right now with this man in office. And, he's not working with anybody in Congress. He's working against Congress, and everybody else that disagrees with him, he has a problem with it. And he shows it by throwing his weight around and throwing his power. And as long as he's in power and in the White House to make these decisions, then we're in a lot of trouble having this man in the White House, because who knows what's next, okay? Now, that's how things are done, according to Powell, that you have to be willing to work together. The government has to be willing to be on one accord. Now, I feel that Trump, only cares to me about himself. He is so arrogant to me. He's been arrogant the whole time he's been president. And of course, he cannot be trusted. He says one thing and he does another thing. And he just makes up a lot of chaos, He stirs up nothing but hate in this country, and we don't need it. We're done with you, Trump. You need to be out the door. You need to be fired. I'm sorry. But this will definitely go down in history, I believe, because, we have never seen anything like this before in a long time, right? Not since, a long time ago, years ago. But right now, our country's so divided, it's almost like the South is against the North. It's just like, it's like the 60s and 50s again, all over again. That's how it feels, and it's sad, because it's like in the 21st century, you guys, we should be all unified. We should be all working together in one country, no matter what color, what race, what nationality you are. This is America. This is supposed to be where people are living together. Of course, we're not going to always get along, but it shouldn't be so much hate that's been building up. And ever since this man has been in office, that's all he's been projecting is hate, and having people, the Democrats against the Republicans. I mean, I've never seen such chaos before, and even though we might see differently on a lot of decisions, we should still be able to work together as human beings, to come to some common ground. Okay. And we're not going to do that with a leader like President Trump that's not being a leader whatsoever. He's more like a dictator, and he's more like a troublemaker, a bully. Yes, I'm calling him names because that's what he projects. That's what he's projecting. And there's so many, countless evidence of him being, very disrespectful to people in Congress, disrespectful to the American people. It's ridiculous. The fact checker proves it all the time. If you want to know any statements that Trump has said in the past that were lies, look at the fact checker. CNN states the fact checker throughout the whole time this man was in office, okay? And they found him stating lies all the time. So we're ready for someone refreshing like Biden that can get this country unified, hopefully, that can bring us all together and hopefully get some kind of common ground in the United States of America. Because right now, the United States of America, we're looking very sad right now. And people from other countries are looking at us like, I don't know if I want to go to the United States of America. They're out of their minds. So, but anyway, I've babbled enough, but leave a comment at the end of the comment section. What do you think about all this? What do you think about the U.S. Capitol? I want to hear from you, okay? There's no right or wrong answer. Your answer is your very own answer. I will not judge it. We may disagree, but hey, you're entitled to your own answer, okay? So please, I want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment at the end of the comment section. If you like this video, please click the like button. Please don't forget to click the bell for further notifications. And see you next time. Deuces. God bless.